Okay, good afternoon all. Let's get cracking. First and foremost, getting into GFriedman. Some of us remember the other day, some of you are sleeping, you don't know. We go way back to the beginning. You start off with the day, if you remember, with a class about the spy. Anybody remember that? Yeah. All right. So what we're going to do right now, you saw the idea of 7 wonders of Jewish history seemingly contradict one another, didn't come true. You saw the idea of codes, right? Hiding like a chef by chance. You saw the idea of national revelation. You saw world perfect. And last but not least, what we're going to do right now is called control. Now, control is less about verification as much as it is how do we know that he can actually pull off what he says he's going to do. In other words, what is his track record? Let's say we know the spy is our spy. We actually believe him, we know it's true. Can he do what he says he's going to do? Now, the truth is, already solved this a little bit when we talked about the idea of 7 wonders, where it was ridiculous and came out. But here we're going to get a bit deeper, we're going to dig down a bit further. And to do that, we're going to be looking at a very famous book, which you may have heard by now, and that's called the Torah. But in particular, you'll be focusing in on something called the stories of the Torah. Is there anyone in this room that does not own an iPhone, iPad, iPod, iPod, or Mac? Anyone? Not own one of those? What do you got? Android. Okay, we'll go over here. Did you ever read the manual for any electronic device you've ever had? Okay. Have you ever read? All right. Has anyone ever read a manual for anything? Yeah? You read before?
Otherwise, why you told me?
You should talk to someone about So just relax, lay down a little. Let's talk about it. All right, so you might remember they're all pretty much the same. Page 1 tells you the copyrights, right? Page 2 tells you it's an electronic device, how to plug it in and charge it. Page 3, it's like an iPod, how not to lose your music from recording someone else's music. Page 4 tells a story about a guy named David who's on his way home from buying eggs and they fall and he needs to buy new eggs. So you must have gotten ripped off many times. There's no story about a guy named David buying eggs in your iPod manual. Why? It's irrelevant. Because it's irrelevant. Very good. Does anyone know what does the word Torah mean? Teaching. Teaching or instructions. Basically, if you want to know how to live your life, we have a company called, you want to learn how to drive a car in this country. We get a book called Torah Nehiga, instructions for driving. You want to know how to live? You got to get a book called Torah Hayim, instructions for life. Oh, life, oh, life. Okay, that's the idea of what? Of the word Torah. So the word Torah means instructions. And the Torah is instructions. So then why in the world do we have all these stories? There was a guy named Jacob, he had one named Esau, and they had a fight. Who cares? Something they got to do. Wake up in the morning, brush your teeth, say Shema, yum, 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 thanks to God, yay, God, Shema, peace, good night. Why do we have all these stories? Anyone?
Because those are like prime examples of how we should
Instructions, very good. Prime example of instructions. We all know it's also the best way to teach, right? The best way to teach is to tell a story. We all know when you guys go to shul. So what happens when you guys go to shul and the rabbi gets something and says, and that's like parasha, everyone like, but then when the rabbi goes, and then there was a story, you watch everyone do the same thing. There was a story. Story? Yeah. And he goes, anyway, so the parasha, big story. And this is what happens. When you go in the storyline, a person actually remembers things. Right? And therefore, what is the purpose of the Torah? What is the purpose of the stories in the Torah? Come from the Ramban, Nachmanides, and he says a great sage says the following statement, 1194, 12, 77, Maaseh Avot Siman Labanim. On Yeshivas, that's myself, Siman Labanim. That which happened to the forefathers is a sign of what will happen to the children afterwards. Everybody get that? Myself, Siman Labanim, that's what happened to the forefathers, is a sign of what will happen to the children after. This is a little bit abstract, let me try to illustrate the point. Who's known to be the first Jews?
Abraham.
And good. Now, anyone know where did they live, geographically speaking? Canaan. Very good. Now, when they lived there, what happened? There's a big event. Right. Where did they go? They go to Egypt, otherwise known as they went there. Now, what happens to Sarah, when they get there? Right. She gets oppressed. She gets taken. Right. So what does she do? She cries out. What does God do? He sends plagues. And last but not least, Liwe Giwe. Okay. I'll share with you another idea. I'm sorry for those who are uninitiated. Okay. That means they left with great wealth. Everybody get it? Let me tell you another story. It didn't happen with Abraham. Wasn't Abraham's grandson sons. His name was Jacob or Yaakov. Anybody know, where did Yaakov live geographically? That's right. What happened when he lived there? Yeah, where did they go?
Egypt.
What happened to the Jews when they got to Egypt?
Right.
They were depressed. What did we do?
Right.
We cried out. What did God do?
Send
place, last but not least. There we go. Excellent. Okay. Now, for those who didn't get picked up on it, this is this.
But what do you mean? That's A, that's J.
Okay, we can get the point, right? This is what's called Maaseh Avot Siman Lavanim. Now, which happened before fathers is a sign of a will out of the children afterwards. Some might say, well, history repeats itself. It's not exactly the same thing. History repeats itself as there was a war, and many years later, there was a war. Over here, it's what, step by step, exact things are following. And we got Canaan, people give us so close to what we do it. That first time teaching, sorry. Okay, so now let's go a little bit further. We understand this idea makes sense. This is an illustration, says the Ramban, of Maisa of the Sin Labanim. What I'm going to do today, what my mission statement, my goal, what I'm trying to achieve, is I'm going to show you another pattern that doesn't play 200 to 300 years, rather plays itself out throughout the millennia, even up until modern day. And if we can do that, we can show that the mano is gribe, it's none other than the hand of Dios. Everybody get it? One more time. I'm going to show you another pattern that doesn't play 200 to 300 years, plays itself out throughout history, even up until today. And if we can do that, that means that God actually has control. If you got the great, you didn't get it, that's fine, you're going to understand as we go on. First, let's start with a little bit of history. Do you know Abraham has how many sons? Good. What are their names? Ishmael and Yitzchak. You'll excuse me, I'm used to writing this in English and I'm going to. Ishmael and Isaac. Now, how many sons does Isaac have? Good. What are their names? Esau and Jacob, very nice. Esau and Yaakov, Now we're going to take a look. These brothers, they have a bunch of battles. Not any battle, but 3 battles. But not just any battles, 3 epic battles. And we're going to take a look and see who these 3 epic battles play themselves out throughout history, even up until modern day. And if they do, once again, you understand what we're looking for. So let's take a look and see what happens. Battle number 1. What was battle number 1 between Yaakov and Esau? Very first one. Coming out of the womb. For what? Good, the Bechor. Bottom line is they want to know who's going to be the Bechor. Now, who cares if you're the Bechor? What does it matter if you're the Bechor? What? Inheritance. But what particular inheritance are we looking for? Good. Whoever gets the Bechor is going to walk away with the Benachot, right? And they want to walk away with the Benachot, right? So therefore they're going to go and they're going to say that we want to be the first one. We're the first one, we're going to get the blessings. Where geographically speaking are these blessings going to come to fruition? Very good. In the land of Israel. Okay, but Eretz Israel. Okay, let's take a look and see. I know, I think that way. What? Let's take a look. Battle number 1 was over the birthday of the blessing of the land of Israel. We take a see what happens? Yaakov and Esau are going to go out to the time they're in the womb. They're fighting, right? Yaakov Esau. Esau comes out first. What do we call him? He comes out as Esau, a red, hairy beast. They call him Esau from the word asu, which means finished, cooked, close, terminado. It says todo finito. That's it. That is en français, fin. And then they were fini. And then you have Esau. Right? That's Esau. And comes along. He is done. Following him is somebody that grabs onto his ankle. What do we call him? Yaakov. Ankle boy. Otherwise known as Yaakov. The which means ankle or heel. Okay, so it looks like Esau won the battle, didn't he? But he didn't win the war. Because what happened a couple years later? A couple of years later, Jacob is making a stew. What kind of stew? Red lentil stew. Very good. Rojo. As he's making this red lentil stew, in comes Esau from the field, and he says, "Haliteina min ha'adom adom hazeh." Pours down my throat some of that red stuff. You are what you eat. I'm a chocolate cake. Says the Torah. Al kain kara es shemo edom. You have to picture this. This is actually the narrative of the Torah. He comes and he's like, "Give me some red stuff." The narrator goes, "We will now call him red." Actually, the pasuk, right? It goes, Al Kain Kar Eshimo Edom, therefore, entonces, okay, Edom, I would have done it in red, I just don't have a red marker. But then you have Edom means red, Edom, red. Edom is Esau is Edom, then it goes Iron, okay. Fine, so that's that. Now, so what happens? He goes, give me that red stuff. He goes, all right, no problem. Just sell me your birthright, like today. He goes, what do I care? I'm going to die anyway. He goes and he sells him the bird. Whoa, birthright for beans. He guy's jacking a beanstalk. He sells it for beans. Okay. So what happens? A couple years later, Yitzchak can't see so well. Yitzchak is dying. Why can't he see well? Because he was blind. Very, very insightful. He was blind, right? Okay, so there's a couple answers. One is Okay, the Yitzchak, the tears came in his eyes. Another one. What Esau's wife spoke over the third, like the Ramban says so beautifully. He was old, right? And then his wife can't see so well. He calls Esau, who's his firstborn, and says, all right, go catch me some game. I'll satiate my soul and I'll bless you. All right, Pops, he leaves. Now we know that Esau is married. What's his wife's name? Good, Rivka, or I'm not sure, I guess, spell it with a couple of them. All right. So, she overhears this conversation, and she's like, this is bad news for the Jews. Yo, Esau gets in there, we're going down, down, down. You know what I'm saying, right? Well, you gotta go and change that idea. So he goes and says, she goes, Jacob, you get in there. Yaakov, take the bus. But Mom, one problem. What is it? I'm not a hairy base. That's okay. You get dressed up in goat skin, with your toilet goats, and get on in there. But Mom, the curses will be upon me. Fine. He gets dressed up, he walks in, and he goes, all right, Dad, here I am. All in the world will be bigger. And he goes, here I am. Bless me. He goes, what? Who is that? And he says one of the most famous lines in the Torah. Anochi. Anyone? Good. Anochi Esav Bechorecha, which means what? I am Esav, your firstborn. Is there any problem with that statement besides the fact that he wasn't? Right. That's the problem, right? So what's going on here? How could you say that? So Rashi gives one answer, they're waiting for the comma, right? He goes, who is that? He goes, Anochi, I am. Esav is your firstborn. Chicken. Anything else? The cinema. Okay, so kind of like, all right, fine. That's one answer. The instant answer now changed from what we call a lie to a why not. What's going on for a beautiful answer that people do Yaakov Kaminsky and Pasha also. However, the guy goes, let me feel you. He feels him, and he goes, well, you're pretty hairy, you must be him. So what does he do? He says, and do the heavens from the face of the earth, may be blessed. He takes that blessing and walks out like a beautiful screamer. Out walks, what's his name? Yaakov, in walks Esau. And he goes, all right, Dad, here I am, bless me. He says, what? Me, Evo, who, where? Your brother. He says, what? No, you tricked me again? He goes, what do you mean again? He goes, first he took my birthright, now he took my blessings. He said, what? You mean he took your birthright? You mean really he was considered the firstborn? You mean really he deserved that birthright, that firstborn thing? What do we got? Gam Baruch Yeh, so he shall remain blessed. Battle number one, Yaakov and Esau, Bechor, Brachos, Eretz Yisrael. What do we got? J1, E, nil. Those are not familiar. Nil means zero. Okay, let's go on. All right, so that's Yaakov is one, Esau is nothing. So far, so good. First battle, second battle. What was the next time? So we know that Esau is not too thrilled with Yaakov. And he says, Yaakov, I'm going to kill you. And Yaakov goes, oh yeah? Well, I completely believe you. So what does he do? What does he do? He runs away. Where does he go? Uncle Lovin. What happens when he gets there? He gets married, he gets married, he gets married, he gets married 4 times. And then he's hanging out in Charan for a number of years until God comes to him. How many years is he hanging out by Lovin before he's told to go? 22. Very good, 22 years. So there, he's there for 22 years until God says it's time to get your way back to the land of right, Canaan, right, back to the land of Israel, right? You're going back. So he says, all right, fine, no problem. He starts to make his way back, and on his way, he is told you're about to be greeted by an army of 160,000 men. That would be accurate in terms of Rashi, but let's just look at the bunch of what? 400, really generals of these 400, but anyway, 400 men led by none other than your brother, Esau. And he's not coming to kiss you, although he does. Hold off. Okay, so what goes like this? He goes, uh-oh, what am I going to do now? Looks at the almanac nation of the world, this is big bribery. So he starts sending gift after gift after gift after gift after gift after. No, he stopped for a minute. After gift, right? He goes, the next thing he does is he splits up the camp and he prepares for war. If this one gets attacked, this will be saved. If this one gets attacked, this one will be saved. And the last thing he does, he goes and he prays, right? He dies. And this is what we all do when we're faced with like adversity. We bribe, we pray, we split. In any event, what happens now? He goes there, he meets up with them, and he goes, brother, 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 brother. And he comes and he actually kisses him. In Francais, bisou. He gives him a kiss. I know the Medrash said he tried to bite his neck. I know. But let's look at this simple explanation of the puzzle. Then he shikera and he came and gave him a kiss. And he goes and says, where are you going? He goes, oh, never mind. Oh, let me escort you, says Esau to Yaakov. He goes, no, it's okay, I'm cool. I got all these flatwings and these fledglings and these kidlings. I got all these links. You go on and catch his way. He says, yeah, okay, fine. He slips on by into the land of Israel. Battle number 2, Yaakov and Esau. What do we got? J2. being nil. Does this make sense so far? 2 times over the land of Israel, Yaakov versus Esau, 2 times Yaakov coming out victorious. Let's take a look at the next time. What was the next episode? We know that there's a whole story that happens. Yaakov has a number of sons. How many sons? 12 sons. Reuben, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Zebulun, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, guess them down, but these are 12 Shivot. Everybody knows Joseph and the technical quote that 10 older, 8 younger, they sell them down to Egypt for a pair of shoes. We just read it last week's parasha. And what happens? He goes into prison for 10 years and another 2 years and becomes what? The viceroy, number 1 man, number 2 man, number 1 man, number 2, number 2 man in Egypt. Joseph is a man. And we know that the number of years passed until finally Yaakov comes down with his family. How many years? 22, very good. That's measure for measure. Since Yaakov was in Mitzrayim for 22 years, therefore his sons were 22 years. But finally makes way down. What happens? He goes to the land of Goshen. And Yaakov and his family lived in the land of Goshen for a number of years till Yaakov was about to die. How many years? 17. And anyway, they did once. Sorry. Right, 17 years. Really sorry. I enjoyed it actually. So what happened? 17 years, and he's about to go. He's about to die, and he calls Yosef. He says, "Yosef, I'm going to die." He says, "No." He says, "Yes." He says, "Okay." He says, "But I want you to swear to me something, Yosef." He says, "What is it?" "I want you to swear to me that when I die, that you will not bury me here in Mitzrayim, in Egypt, but you will bury me in Maharat HaMechpelah, the cave of the doubles, and my family in caves, located about 15 miles from here in Hebron." Yosef says, "All right, Dad, I'll do it." He says, "Swear to me." He's saying, "I'll swear." Okay, awkward and copyright infringement. And he says, "I swear," and all things worked out. The question though is, why? I'm gonna splash something. Why would it be? Why would it be? Why would it be that a person like Yaakov is making Yosef swear when Yosef already said he's going to do it? Yosef said he's going to do it. There's a lot of answers to this, and I'm going to share one with you. It goes like this. I say, "Only I've been to Marat HaMechpelah." Been there before. Been there. Who's never been there? Raise your hand if you've never been there before. Okay, you should go this year if you haven't been there, and that's only with permission from your yeshiva. And there's one nonetheless. She goes to Marat HaMechpelah. Why is Marat HaMechpelah called Marat HaMechpelah? Gemara in Eruvin 54. What? Okay, one is because it's a cave inside of a cave. Right, good. The other answer is because
And the couples are buried.
buried there are doubles. Who's buried there? We got Adam and Eve, Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebecca, Leah, somewhere Rachel on the side of the road, and who? Why did you prefer a woman to come to Martha Mechpelah? You come to the cave of the doubles, and as you get to Martha Mechpelah, you go, "Welcome to the cave of the doubles." We got Adam and Eve, and Abraham and Sarah, Isaac, Rebecca, Leah, and Esav. How would that look for us? Would that look good for us? No. Would that look good? No. Would it look good for us, anyone? No. Actually, it would. Just kidding. Right? It would look very bad for us, right? Think about it for a second. If a person wants to figure out who lived in a certain area, archaeologically speaking, so what do? First place you look is who's buried there, right? Last people buried there, the last people that lived there. If Esav was buried there, it would have looked like Esav had rule and control of this. Therefore, what? He says, "Make sure you get me there." He says, "Now you got it, no problem." And then what happens? He goes there, he dies. His own procession, the funeral procession is making their way up to the land of Israel, so making their way up. Who do you expect to be there trying to stop them? Uncle Esav. This is battle number 3. This is what's called by the burial. And remember this again, these are all the land of Israel, right? Okay, let's take a look and see what happens now. As they get there, Esav there, sword drawn, and where do you think you're going, boys?
Well, you know, your dad died. You know, we're going to marry him, right? Well, not in my land. Well, Lisa, we thought about this in every bar mitzvah. You sold it to that family to where?
Oh yeah, where's the deed? I in my land, you showed me the deed of there. No man, and this one, no into that, no seeing, no get. You have to have what's going on, show me the deed. What are they going to stop? Well, of course, we carry deeds with us. It's a funeral for some. We don't have it, it's nothing Egypt. Ain't no one in this land, you show me the deed. So Naphtali turns around the swiftness of all of a sudden, starts running back to the land of Egypt to go get the deed. In the meantime, there's someone else there. By the name of? Rhymes with Chushim? Chushim, very good. Chushim ben Dan. Then we know Abraham and his son Isaac and Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons. One of his sons' name was Dan or Dan. Dan and his son named Chushim. Why was it called Chushim? Because what is the word? Anyone here speak Hebrew? Anyone speak Hebrew? You speak Hebrew? How do you say satellite dish? Yeah, you don't speak Hebrew. Anyway, they do it like this. What is the word? Okay, we have another chance. What does Chushim mean? Chushim tov. It means senses, as in the 5 senses. Right? Like sense is good. Right? And what we have is what? The 5 senses, right? Sight, smell, taste, hearing, and touch. He was missing one of them as a euphemism. That's a nice way of saying something negative. As we say in the Gemara, Loshem Sagi Nar, when someone is blind, they call him full of light. He was deaf, they called him senses. He didn't know what was going on. He just saw that there was this red hairy beast. He didn't know him, right? Because he didn't have Facebook. He just knows that his grandfather is frying in the Middle Eastern sun. Right? Has anybody been to the Middle East? Welcome to Israel. That's first class. So what happens? He goes ahead and he says, he knows what's happening. He takes out his sword. Really, the Morris of the son says the Michael was a stake, but he walks up to him. What happens? Chops off his head, ending the battle between Yaakov and Esau. Battle number 3, J3, E-Nil. So what do we got? 3 battles, Yaakov and Esau, all of them going kind of Israel, all of them Yaakov coming out victorious. Clear? Yeah. Any questions so far? Is this clear? Okay, let's move on. Now, if the Ramban is correct, Maaseh Avosam Levadim, now chapter the forefathers, the sign of all of the children afterwards, what do we expect to find? We expect to find the 3 battles, Yaakov and Esau going to the land of Israel. But the 3 battles with the descendants of Yaakov and Esau. Descendants of Esau, namely the Edomites. Descendants of Yaakov, namely the Israelites. All going into Israel, all of them of Yaakov coming out victorious. Let's take a look at this here. This happens. When is the first time the Jewish people as a nation make their way towards the land of Israel? No, sure. When is the first time the Jewish people as a nation make their way towards the land of Israel? Yitzias Mitzrayim. Yeshua is also accurate and correct, but that's when they actually went in. But the goal is what? That we leave Mitzrayim, we stop by the Har Sinai, get the Torah, get some, and then move on, right? And move on and we messed up. But the bottom is when we have this by Yitzias Mitzrayim. Did anyone come along and try to attack us at that point? Somebody name of Amalek, very good. Anybody know who won that battle? Amalek won. That's why we were not here and we lost it. Okay, it says what? That's not a fair, but I just said, because amongst us, right? The point is what? Who won that battle, my friends? That would be J1 E-Nil. Although they made cool the waters, their goal is to kill us, right? So we have the ultimate is what? J1 E-Nil. And again, these are all the land of Israel. Let's take a look. The only question we have is Amalek a descendant of Esau? So for that, open up your handy dandy booklets to page 76, 76. Now once again, I'm going to ask you, like I asked you this morning, and this you totally have to see if you're going to lose it. I forgot to mention something. Has anyone in this room ever been to Discovery before? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you've been here before. Okay, if you have been here before, you might not realize it. So if you have been here, or you have seen parts of what I'm going to show you today, I have one request for you, and that's don't be that guy. Okay, everyone knows who the guys? Oh, this is the part where they die, right? Thank you. I don't hate you even now. I once saw you know the movie Titanic. I know you don't, but I went to the movie Titanic in the beginning. Some guy yells out, "It sinks!" I said, "Come on!" so don't be that guy. Don't move. Okay, here we go. 76, top right-hand corner, scroll of Esther 3:1. King Achashverosh promoted. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm telling you this. I'm not up to that yet. Hold this page for a second. We're not up to this. Very simple. The Torah we know. I don't know what, I do know, but it's from number 2. We're not there yet. Amalek, we know that Esau had a son by the name of? Eliphaz. Eliphaz had a son by the name of? Amalek. Very good. So not only are they related, they're very closely related. Right? That's one father, his grandfather and grandson. On the father's side, pretty straightforward. On the mother's side, a little hanky-panky, grandpa stuff going on. But we find that they're related. Good. So far, so good. That's battle number 1. What is the next time the Jewish people as a nation make their way towards the land of Israel? You may ask me, what do you mean the next time? I thought that they were there. The answer is they were exiled for a predicted 70 years by none other than the ship from the Matrix. Nebuchadnezzar, very good. Nebuchadnezzar, Mount Bava, Babylonian king, exiles us for a predicted 70 years until we start to make our way back. Now we're ready to get the answer because it's something I just showed you. Has anybody come along at the end of that 70 years and wanted to kill every man, woman, and child in the Jewish nation? Someone with a name, very good. Haman, boo. Does anybody know who won that battle? That's right. Then J2, good pizza store, E-Nil. Okay, the other question is Haman, boo, the 7th of Amalek. Page 76, top right hand corner. And it says the following, the scroll of Esther 3:1. King Achashverosh promoted Haman, boo, the son of Dasa, the Agagite. What was an Agagite? Mommy called me Agagite. Take a look at the top left-hand corner, Samuel 1:15-32. Samuel said, "Bring to me Agag, the king of Amalek." Indeed, we see what? That Haman is like Agagite's king of Amalek. Indeed, they are related. Very good. Okay, now number 2. What is the next time the Jewish people as a nation make their way towards the land of Israel? You may ask, what do you mean the next time? I thought they were there. The answer is we were exiled from 2000 years of Jewish childhood diaspora. Join us to see when we come back. You may answer this morning. How are you? How's everything? No, the second time we got exiled from the land. When was the next time we started coming back? Right, that was before. No. The first attempt was in the 1700s with the students in the Vilna Gaon, which failed miserably until the mid to end of 1800s. Right, with the students of Kassam Sofer. We're spilling over to the beginning of the 1900s, which is known as the first waves of Aliyah. Is that wrong? I think that's what you mentioned this morning, the first Congress of Alfred, right? Okay, so what happens first waves of Aliyah, the end of the 1800s, beginning of the 1900s. Is there anyone who came along at the end of the 1800s, the beginning of the 1900s, that wanted to kill every man, woman, and child in the Jewish nation? Somebody hit the national and the Nazis. Okay, let's take a look. Does anybody know who won that battle? America. Okay. Okay. Now, this is J3 email. Let me explain. This is what we call either a knockout or even a TK or a technical knockout. Because we know what was Hitler, what was his goal? To annihilate all of us, right? To throw all the Jews down the road, right? Every one of them. Did he succeed? No. Did he come close? Yes. Let me try again. Did he come close in Europe? Yes. Did he come close in the world? No. No. I mean, did a lot, right? About 38%, 6 million out of about 16 to 17 million. That's a heck of a lot of Jews, even one. But the bottom line is, at the end of the day, what happens? We're still here. So therefore, even though they tried, they're going to come here, which means 3 TKO, which means J3 email. Everybody get it? 3 battles Yaakov and Esav, all of them are all in Yaakov and victorious. 3 battles, the descendants of Yaakov and Esav, all of them are all in Yaakov and victorious. The only question we have now is, are the Nazis descendants of Amalek? Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Are they descendants of Amalek? If they are, we just don't 3 and 3 going in and we're good to go. If they're not, then this is what we call discovery undiscovered. Therefore, hopefully, we're actually going to see that they are. Is your question going to be that guy, or you just have a question?
No, it's a good question.
Yeah, that'd be good.
What about like Edom, Rome, destroying the faith of Dutch? Second one.
What about it?
Edom is Edom. Edom, Rome, Edom, Esav.
Therefore, what?
So that's a triumph of Esav.
So I can't understand. If we're just talking about triumphs and we're just talking about battles, and it's not only Yaakov and Esav, this is 100 years or something, page 59 this morning. We've been exiled destroyed by many, many people, right? We're talking specifically as something that's going towards the land of Israel. At that particular moment, something comes apart and goes and destroyed. The blessings land of Israel are going, preparing now, and take us and go. I think this idea of walking up the land of Israel, walking up the land of Israel. Understand? Not when we were in. Very good. Okay, it was very good. The point we're here specifically Yaakov and Esav as we're going in. We're going to take a look, my friends, at you already saw codes, right? You guys, anyone saw it? Right, when in Zyklon B and all that kind of stuff, and Nazis and things like that, and do that guy have a question?
No, they weren't exactly going to Israel when Haman did it. It's kind of like because of the whole thing.
No, close, but you said 2 statements are the same. Nothing to do with Haman. There was a nevuah, like Daniel, right? That regardless of Haman, that we would have been going up at the end of 70 years.
But at the time when Haman and the Jews entered the back, the Jews were not making their way towards that.
That's right. But what happens is that particular time of the whole storyline is a build-up that needs to take time, right? It's not like this second. It's that at the time period when things are going to start to be getting ready, they have the time they're going to need to set the plan to go destroy them all. That's going to happen. You can't do it that day, right? As they're going in, and Haman goes, okay, I'm going to become the king of the thing. It doesn't work like that, right?
That's how all the other things were.
Say again.
Why is this one different?
Even the brachos. The brachos also isn't right away. Understand? They're giving brachos. Understand? The bottom line is that these brachos are meant to be taken for the land of Israel. And as at the end of this is not the beginning. When did it happen? You know when it happened? Why did Achashverosh even make a party? Because he made a mistake in the calculation, and that's when Haman said, okay, great, now at this end, when they're going to be going ahead and they're going to be going up, so to speak, and they didn't go up, now's our time to go destroy them, and then they go up, and right after the whole idea of what's happening. You're right, I'm not going to take away the idea of what's happening, but in the same takuf, the same time period is what something's happening, can't happen that second, it takes time to develop, and at the same idea, is that that's right before they go and then they go up and down. It's not because it would have gone even if Haman hadn't done anything. All right, so now let's go a little bit further and say, good, excelente, perfecto, okay, claro. Now the only question we got to do, are the Nazis descendants of Amalek? If they are, then we're going to attack them, but no good. We're going to take a look at 2 different ideas. Number one is we're going to be studying something known as you guys know a little Hebrew, so well, I'm saying what's called the Talmud, right? And the Talmud is a compilation of the Mishnah and the Gemara, right? So that's the idea of the Talmud. Then we have also some called the Gemara, right? And then also we're going to be looking at number 2 is the story of Purim. Okay? Some call it Purim, some call it Chanukah, depends on what you drink. All right. You know, it's like sure, it's so you guys are going to get around. All right. Let's take a look. Number 1, we're going to look at the Talmud. Does anybody know approximately how many years ago was the Gemara written? How many years ago? What did you say?
Gemara?
Good. Who said the same idea? But 15 to 1600 years ago, the Gemara was written down. That's what we said before. Written down 15 to 1600 years ago. What does the Gemara do? Elaborate, elucidate, make clear what does the Torah actually mean. So let's take a look at page 76. 76 in the gray columns. 76 in the gray column. We're going to quote from the Gemara, Megillah 6b. Follow the base, and it goes like this. The following idea. The Gemara says, Rav Yitzchak said, what is meant by the verse of the Psalms? If you don't know how to read, in the Psalms, if you do. 149. Oh God, don't grant the desires of the evil man, and don't let him draw out his bit, lest he raise himself above others. First of all, what's a bit? Good, the thing you put in the book of the caballo, the thing you put in the horse's mouth. Yeah, this to have control of them. Not the reins, not a muzzle, but the bit. The thing the reins connect to, that you turn it any which way that you want it to go. Oh God, don't grant the desires of the evil man, don't let him draw out his bit, lest he raise himself above others. What does that mean? Says the Talmud. Jacob, our forefather, said to God, don't grant the desires of the evil man. This refers to Esau, and don't let him draw out his bit. This refers to Germania of Edom. For should they go forth, they could destroy the entire world. Does Edom sound familiar? Germania of Edom. Does Germania sound similar to anything?
Germany.
Right, look at France. Right? No, what? Germany. So what do we see over here? And incidentally, I always hear people tell me that the Torah says it right there on the page of Megillah, but happens to I just saw the other night, I was so excited. The Vilna Gaon points out that during Yoma on page Yudam 10b, that indeed when it says Germania, that it means Germania, which means Germany. It's not unusual to have words, little letters within words change over time. Like, has anyone ever named Friedman by any chance? Any Friedmans? Or any man, anything man. What? Goldman, Fishman, Goldman, what? Yeah? Steinman, Seidman. These are all names. What's that?
My man.
No.
My mother.
Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so Albert or Alfred?
Albert, but I think Alfred.
Okay, well, no problem.
Like Alfred from Batman.
So it's all true. All right, so everyone's name like Goldman and Fishman or Simon or whatever. You don't know that when you write your name in Hebrew, it can sometimes get a little confusing, right? People have different ways of spelling things. For example, I spell my name Friedman. That's my last name. I spell it very simple, straight up, Friedman, like it sounds. Some people spell it differently, right? They go like with something like, you know, a couple of these. Right? They throw like a lot of, you know, like when there's like olives and irons thrown in for the other stuff. So we have Germania. This is something which is very relative to understand. The Vilna Gaon lived 250 years before Germany. Goes on and he tells us that Germania, Germania, this is Germany. Fascinating that the Talmud should mention Germany before it even existed. Germany didn't exist for 300 years. Till 300 years later, it was Charlemagne, Charles the Great, who established the Holy Roman Empire, which historians tell us was neither holy nor Roman Empire. But nonetheless, we understand the idea of what's happening over here pretty wild. So we're seeing some sort of way back, but it doesn't stop there. It keeps going. Don't stop. Keep going. Next paragraph. Okay, it goes like this. Rabbi Chama bar Chanina said, everybody sees it? Next paragraph, 76, right column, left side. Rabbi Chama bar Chanina said, there are 300 crown princes in Germania of Edom and 365 chieftains in Rome. And every day one goes up to meet the other, and one of them is killed, and they all have the trouble of appointing a king again. What do we see over here? This is like a bit, right? Don't let them draw out their bit. What's the bit? We got a two-part bit over here. Number one is something called disunity. What do I mean by disunity? We have 300 crown princes. There's no one central force of a prince. And if you want to say that's the way that they set up their system, it's inherently something which is divided. Disunity. Number two, we got to keep them fighting with Rome. Everybody get that? We got to keep disunity and keep them fighting with Rome. You know what else is fascinating? Not only is that the Talmud mentions Germany, which didn't yet exist, but it comes along and it tells us what? If you take a look at 76 in the great column on the right side, bottom right corner in the great column in 76, by the end of the Middle Ages, which had seen Britain and France emerge as unified nations, Germany remained the greatest patchwork of some Anyone? 300 individual states. Not only does the Talmud tell us about Germany, which didn't yet exist, it tells us exactly how many states there'll be. 300 crown princes, 300 individual states. That's pretty wild, but now when things get a bit crazy, and that's what we got here. Now, if we want to keep them in check, if we want to keep Germany in check and stop them from going forth, destroy the entire world, we got to do two things. One, keep them disunity. Number two, keep them fighting the throne. Is there ever a time in history when Germany was unified with itself as well as with Rome? That was Italy. Yeah. When he went to World War II, that's when he unified with himself as well as with Italy. It was pretty fascinating that we know Hitler made loads and loads of treaties, and he broke every single one of them except for one, which eventually also broke after he died. Not him, but the person we're talking about now, and that was with whom? What's right? Benito Mussolini is known as the Rome-Berlin Axis, not to be confused with the Axis of Awesome. That's all it takes to ride off our cars on, right? It's fun that the Axis of Evil, anyways, but the Rome-Berlin Axis, yeah? This is also known as a tripartite, lots of Japan included there, but the bottom line is, what do we see over here? The particular place that the Talmud says that Germany needs to unify with in order to cause wreak havoc in the world is Rome. That is the particular one that they actually kept the treaty with. Pretty wild. And we were looking for control. I think from the Talmud, we've seen some pretty significant, overwhelming evidence to show that Germany and the Nazis indeed go back to the idea of what Amalek, showing that the handle of this book actually has control. That's part one. I just want to throw in the cherry on top. You don't like cherries, people with whipped cream, you don't like that, you can take it off. And you like this intolerant, you can have lettuce, whatever. So it goes like this, yeah? Whipped cream and lettuce. Maybe not dairy. Check out that shit. Make sure there's not to put it up because all the gas in the movie put down. Okay, so now we're going to follow me again. It goes like this. Why in the world? Why in the world would Hitler make a treaty with Mussolini? Now, I'll help you out a little bit. I'll help you out. Well, what do you mean? They're both fascists. You know what I'm saying? They have the land, massive church, the water, the coastline. I get it. But look from another standpoint, military. What did the Germans have? Blitzkrieg, lightning war. Submarines, missiles, fighter jets. They were loaded. What did the Italians have? Horses, fettuccine, that's about it. The Italians, I think, lost almost every battle they ever fought. They did, I think, beat Ethiopia, and they didn't have any guns. Okay, and then it's a little bit strange, yet still that's the particular one that we're looking for control. Makes sense? So far, so good. Let's get tape. Number two, we're going to be focusing on the story of Purim. From the Talmud, and go around and let them go and tell us exactly what's going to be, there's things happening, and then you see what happens. All right, now we got from Purim. For this, we're going to take a look at page 77. Oh, you're there, or you should be. Page 77, you hand the booklets. This is things get a little wild. This is where that guy pops up often, so don't be that guy. I'm going to read from the English. I would like you to read along with me. I mean, you don't have to read aloud with me, but read with me, and I'm going to be, don't forget, please help me out a little. Here we go. And the Jews struck at all their enemies with the sword. With what? Sword. That's right. And with slaughter and destruction, and they did as they pleased to those who hated them. What did they use? Sword. And in Shushan the capital, the Jews slew and destroyed with what? Sword. 500 men, including, this is the part where people try to show off and read them very, very fast, when really you don't have to do that at all. The Gemara just says you should do it in one breath. Why say it so deliberately fast? Let's do like this, ready? Parshandata and Dalpham and Aspata and Korata and Natalia and Aridata and Parmashta and Arisai and Aridai and Vizas and the 10 sons of Haman. Why in the world do you have to show off? Just do it in one breath. You don't have no breath. Okay. And everything like this, the 10 sons of Haman, this is the enemy of the Jews, but they did not lay their hands on the spoils. Anyone know how are the 10 sons of Haman killed?
Sword.
Sword.
No, tree.
Okay, what? Oh, who said hanging? Who said that?
Hanging.
Okay. What's your name?
Judah.
Yehuda? Yehuda or Yuda? Like Yehuda?
Judah.
Ancient name? No. Okay, Yehuda. Can you read? Generally speaking, do you have a problem? Do you cheat generally in life?
No, I try not to.
Okay, I would like to play games with you. Okay, Yehuda, you ready? Sure. Okay, Yehuda, listen what I'm going to do. Okay, everyone quiet and set. No helping. Nobody say a word. Silencio. Silencio. Here we go. I'm going to write something on the board, Yehuda. Okay? We're going to start with this. I just want to make sure that you can see this clearly. Is that how you spell your name?
No.
How do you spell it?
Y-E-H-U-D-A.
I asked you with an H and no H. You said with an H.
Oh, I thought you meant.
What did you
It's
think?
the H in the middle.
Oh, you meant the H in Hebrew. Okay, here we go. Yehuda. Okay, okay, no, I'm with you. I got you. Okay, Yehuda. Can you read that clearly?
Yeah.
Okay, please turn around. Okay, don't look. No cheating. Nobody help him. Nobody. Are you gonna? Is he gonna help? Are you gonna help him? You're gonna help him. Okay, I'm gonna write something on the board. Now, when I tell you, nobody say anything. Quiet in the set. Quiet in the set. When I tell you, I want you to turn around. Not yet. When I tell you, I want you to not yet. When I tell you, I want you to turn around and I want you to read out loud what it says. Do you get the rules? You get the rules? Oh, do you know where this is going?
No.
Okay, don't look, nobody help him. Do the not yet, but when I tell you, turn around, no games, no analytical thinking, no let's break this down and analyze. Just read, you don't look, but just read what it says. Are you ready? Not yet. Okay, when I tell you, Yehuda, okay, turn around, go. What does it say? Out loud.
You're the best guy ever.
Okay, you are. Everyone please quiet, don't say anything. You do very good. Where are you from?
Chicago.
Okay, sit down. I just want you to feel good about yourself because Chicago can be a rough place. Just read it again, out loud, quiet.
Yehuda is the best guy ever.
You are. Nobody say anything. You don't have a question. Have you ever done karaoke before?
No.
Do you know what it is?
That's it.
So you see like words and like with the dot on it, and then like you say the word as the dot is there. Okay?
Okay.
You ready? So
Yehuda. The.
there you go. Okay, so those who didn't pick up on it, it says Yehuda is the. For those who still don't know, I can't help you. All right. Now, very interesting, Yehuda. Why didn't you notice that?
Because my brain just saw it and I wanted to complete the sentence.
Very good. The way that it works is as follows. When we read, we're not actually reading per se the way we understand. We're actually scanning. We have a certain amount of words in our bank. And when we go ahead and we see a big word, it takes longer because it needs longer to scan to see the whole word. When your brain sees a word that doesn't make sense, it just deletes it. It takes it out as if it's never there. Isn't it interesting, Yehuda and others in the room who would have also fallen for this? Yehuda, anyone who said hanging is correct. Anyone who said hung, you're wrong because it's not how you pronounce it or you say it, right? And hanged would be valuable. Okay, it goes like this. We just read what? How were they killed?
Sword.
We just read that they were killed by the sword, yet you said hanging. The reason why you learned it is because you grew up hearing the Megillah, right? Yeah, you've celebrated Purim before, you got dressed up, Esther.
Anyone else?
All right, the point is what, gentlemen, this is how it works. When you are taught something, you learn something when you're young, so what you do is you keep that in your mind. When you hear something showing something very different, black on white, it's clear as day, you won't even see it. You don't even notice it. It's unbelievable. We have certain hanachas, certain givens in our lives, and we accept those givens as fact, and then we just go with them. Well, maybe we were wrong, and we have to challenge those givens so often. Did they get that? If there's one thing I want you to walk away with today, even one thing, please, never put a hot pepper directly into your eye. There's another thing I want you to remember, and that's what, don't just accept and go. Ask, question, and investigate, and reinvestigate. Cause a review and see what you got. How were the 10 sons of Haman killed? By the sword, as the Megillah says. Let's keep going. That's where you'll see why you answered what you answered. You actually were right to a different question. Okay, here we go. That same day, the number of those killed in Shusha, the capital, was reported to the king. What's the king's name? Achashverosh. How do you say it in English? Achashverosh. Very good. The king said to Queen Esther. Now, at this point, he knows that she's Jewish. In Shusha, the capital, the Jews have slain and destroyed Yehuda with that age. With what? Right. 500 men, including the 10 sons of Haman. What have they done in the rest of the king's provinces? What is your request now? Shall be granted to you? What is your petition further? It shall be fulfilled. Is this strange? Anyone listening to what just happened? Esther, this is crazy. You guys just killed like 500. I mean, this is crazy. I just met you. But here's my number. You guys are calling me. This is not in control. They've killed some of the people, and now you're going to go ahead and you what? What now, dear? Anything and it's yours. Whatever you like. If that's not strange, it's even more strange is a response. The king of the world says, what would you like? And the queen of the world responds. Esther replied, if it pleases the king, allow the Jews of Shushan to do tomorrow as they have done today, and let Haman, who has 10 sons, be hanged on the gallows. The king ordered that this be done. Anything unusual? Weren't they already dead? Why in the world would the queen of the world, Your Majesty, can we please hang 10 dead people? But honey, I was talking a little strange. Go for it. Hang those in. You knock yourself out. Why in the world would she do such a thing? What?
Displaying their bodies.
For what?
Showing them the conquered.
Okay, don't mess. This actually is Rashi. Hashem is lucky the famous one in the commentary 10:4-11:5 says what? Don't mess, aye? Because we're going to kill you, and then we're going to hang you. What's up now? You. That's where it goes. That's one answer. It's a correct answer. I do want to share another answer with you, though, and it goes like this. To understand this answer, we're going to get a little bit of background. A little bit of background. There's something very unique about Megillas Esther. Something very unique about Megillas Esther that we don't find in any other book of Tanakh. We can't say so that's Tanakh. What is very unique about Megillas Esther? Hashem's name is not Hashem's name not written in the text of Megillas Esther explicitly. God's name is not out and open and correct. I just want to bring that point. His name is not mentioned explicitly. Whereas in 23 books, God's name is all over. When it comes to the Megillah Esther, it's not even mentioned one time. Pourquoi? When you say in Arabic, why? Why is it that it's not mentioned? So we have like this. There's a couple answers. Okay, just for timing and rip through this. Still like this. God says, listen, follow my Torah. You don't follow my Torah for 23 books and not doing it, so you know what I'm going to do, says the Pasuk in Devarim, Deuteronomy, and look at Asher, says, but I'm going to hide my face from you. You're not going to see me anymore. Right? You're not going to see me anymore. But then how do you know there's still a God? Because we have prophecy, right? Mordechai and Esther are prophet and prophetess respectively, and therefore each one, even though we don't see Hashem, we know there's prophecy, therefore we know Hashem. Good? Then what happens when we no longer have prophecy? Okay, so there's a phasing out period. We see Hashem, we know we have prophecy, we don't know anymore, but we know he's still there. Now, although it's true that God's name is not mentioned anywhere explicitly, it is alluded to. Where's that? Whenever it says, I think the other one, unless I make a mistake, whenever it says the word melech, it means the king of the time meaning good, meaning Achashverosh. Whenever it says the word ha-melech, it's a double entendre. On the one hand, it could refer to the king of the time, his name was Achashverosh, and the flip could be referring to what? The king of kings, the Holy One, blessed be, Hallelujah, God. Okay, let's take a look and read the last paragraph one more time together. 77, bottom paragraph. Esther replied. Who's Esther? The prophetess, right? Esther replied, if it pleases the king, who's that? God. Allow the Jews of Shushan to do tomorrow. What's tomorrow in the language of prophecy? In the future, as they have done today, and let Haman, whose 10 sons be hanged on the gallows. The king, who's that? Hashem ordered that this be done. Please turn to page 78. New York Times, Wednesday, October 16, 1946. During end life by poison, 10 others hanged in Nuremberg prison for Nazi war crimes. Doomed men on gallows pray for Germany. Does everybody see what just happened? Dude, I'm sorry, you're still great, but I need this. All right, here we go. The best, right? All right, so I like this. Yeah, this was October 16th, 1946. Or in the Hebrew calendars, we're going to get to it in a moment. It was 5707 or tough. Shin Zion. Okay, now it goes like this. October 16, 1946. What was that? There was something called the Nuremberg trials. For those who are not familiar, there was a trial in a town called Nuremberg for Nazi war crimes. If it pleases the king, allow the Jews of Shushan to do tomorrow as they've done today. Allow the 10 sons of Haman to be hanged on the gallows. And what do we have over here? 10 hanged at Nuremberg. Now, quite interesting Nazi war crimes. They were killed on October 16, 1946. Although they were killed in October, actually they were not supposed to be. They're supposed to be killed in, anyone?
January, June.
Good, June. 3 guesses, and you got June. What happened in June? And they did something fancy. They pled amnesty. What does amnesty mean? What? Right, they asked for a pardon. They basically said, listen, we're really sorry. We won't do it again. Okay? Let me ask you a question. How many Nazis were involved in World War II? More than 11? But only 11 are convicted. There were more that were tried. Only 11 convicted. One committed suicide, 10 are hanged. And then they have the chutzpah, or as we say in America, the chutzpah, to go ahead and say, just let us off the hook. And then we have the intelligence of like, let's think about it. Let's think about it. But we don't kill them in Jew. But eventually we do kill them. They don't succeed in pushing it off, in getting off. But they do succeed in one thing. What's that? Postponing from June until October. Why is that relevant? Take a look at page 79. 79, the first quote in the Zohar. On the seventh day, right above it, you see the calendar there, the 16th? So it fell out what on a holiday? On the seventh day of the Sukkot holiday, i.e. Hoshana Rabbah, the judgment of the nations of the world was finalized. Sentences are issued from the residence of the king. Judgments are aroused and executed on that day. Coincidentally, the day that they pushed their own death day to fell out to be Judgment Day for the nations of the world. Pretty wild, no? So what do we got? If it pleases the king, let the Jews Shushan do tomorrow, as they've done today, let the tents of them be hanged on the gallows. We have the Nuremberg trials, 10 hanged on the gallows. They push out their own death day for the day of judgment. This is getting a little bit crazy, but it gets even crazier. To understand this next part, we have to understand a little bit, how does the Hebrew calendar work? Does anybody know what year we are currently in on the Hebrew calendar? That was funny. Someone's like 5774, everyone's like fire home. That's like, tell me the 4 books of Shulchan Aruch, what are they? Exactly. Look, it's like Aruch, Shabbos. Shabbos. Like people at weddings, so like, they know the song, 9. What are the words? Exactly. You don't know the words either. We're here 5774. Or in the Hebrew calendar, we write that as Taf, Shin, Ayin, Dal. Taf, Shin, Ayin, a little bit too extended, that'll be puzzle. I'll get Taf, Shin, Ayin, Dal. Okay? So we have the Taf, Shin, Ayin, Dal. Now, it's bad enough that we don't say 2013, right? We go off to say 5774. But why don't we at least do 5774? In other words, why don't we use this system? Why do we have this system? Maybe you're not going to understand what I'm asking. I'll give you an example. What is this? Roman numerals. What are these? Arabic numerals. If you go back a little further, anyone else? Phoenician. Numerals. Really, it's Hindi. Right? But anyway, Hindi, Arabic numerals. Let's go to the Arabic numerals. Pretty interesting that almost the entire world uses this numbering system, the Arabic numbering system, except for the Arabs, right? But the truth is that's not fair. It's only Middle Eastern Arabic. You know something's a little bit different. That's different. The rest of the Arabic world uses these numbering systems as well, so pretty much everyone now. But we were around beforehand, so we have our own numbering system called Gematria, the numerical value of letters. So what is Taf equal? 400, good Shin, 300 Ayin, 70 Dalet, add it up together, get 774, which matches beautifully with the year that we're in now. Okay, clear? What? Add a hay, 779. Should I add number 5 to it? How does that work? Number 5. Okay, but is this clear? 774 equals 5774? What?
5,000 years.
No questions right now. We have to go. Okay, so now listen. Okay, I'm playing with you. Obviously, what's your name? Say it again. Avi. With an H? I'm sorry, I think it's been a long walk. Okay. Yeah, you'll get it. The guy before got it. Okay, Avi. My question for you, really the guy before got it also. Avi, imagine you live in, do you live in Israel? I mean, are you from here? Okay, but imagine you move here. How's that going? Right. Okay, so now, you decide you want to go with the Hebrew calendar, right? You want to go with the Hebrew calendar. So someone goes, hey, when did you move here? You go, me? I've been here since Shin, Ayin, Dalet. Being that the Tuf is the biggest letter we have, equals 400, you would need 12 and a half of them in order to get to the year 5000. So what we did is we write the core 774, and we assume you know what millennium. now we can pull that shtick about the hay, right? Because the hay is just just showing you the concept of the millennia. Okay, moving along. Okay, but with that in mind, now we got the following. We are now going to play a game, which all of you, maybe some of you played recently, I'm not sure. It's called Which of These Things is Not Like the Other. Don't you love Sesame? Right, so let's go back one page. Go back one page. I remember we look up here for just a moment. We have over here a page of Megillas Esther. I want you to focus in. If you know this already, don't be that guy. Take a, don't be. You can do a Darth Vader move. Right, you know the Darth Vader move? That's when somebody knows an answer or has heard a story before. You start telling it, and somebody goes, okay, so I'll point out and say, oh, he knew it also, gentlemen. Okay, just relax. We'll take a look at the 10 names of the sons of Hamanu in Hebrew. Now, 10 names of the sons of Hamanu in Hebrew. Look at the names. You see any unusually small letters. Don't say what they are. Just tell me if you see them. For example, the first name, does anybody see a small letter? What letter is it? Tav. Now look maybe in the 7th name. Any small letters? Shin. Now in the last name? Yud is normal. Zion, very good. Tav, Shin, Zion. Does that look, oh my goodness! Okay, so what just happened to be a gentleman? The year October 16, 1946 happened to fall in the year 5707 in the Hebrew calendar, which happened to be in the Hebrew Tav Shin Zion, which happens to be Tav Shin Zion. What do we find? If it pleases the king, we'll have the Jews of Shushan to do tomorrow as they've done today. A lot of 10 sons of Haman, boom, to be hidden, right? To happen again. What do we have hidden within the 10 names of the sons of Haman? We have a small Tav, a small Shin, and a small Zion, which coincidentally fall into the Nuremberg trials. Everybody see what's going on over here? This is getting a little bit crazy. But Avi, or Avi, is comes along, or Avi, that's the question, right? Or Avi, or Avi, right? Comes along, or Avi, comes along and says, or Avi. Avi, I'm running out of material. I got this, right? Avi comes along and says the following idea. What does Tav Shin Zayin actually equal? 707, right? 707. We can know what millennium we're in now, but 2 millennia ago, 2,000 years ago, when Esther wrote this, and Mordechai, how do we know that they meant 57? Maybe they meant 4707 or 37 or 10 billion 707. Okay, so the answer to that goes like this. How many times have we had the number system 707 from the first time 707 up until and including 5707? A little bit complicated math. Let's do it in our hands. 707, you got it right? 1707, 2707, 3707, 4707, 5707, 6 times. Take a look at the 10 names of the sons of Haman. Do you see any unusually large letters, maybe the last name? Anybody see that? The Vav, right? Now, what does that equal? 6. We have the small letters Tav Shin Zayin, and let me just be clear. We at Discovery did not make the letters smaller in order to make it work. Understand? This is the way the Megillah has been written for the past 2,000 years, if it's been written accurately. And that's what the small Tav Shin Zayin, and this is the big Vav, which means the 6th occurrence of 707. If it pleases the king, let the Jews of Shushan to do tomorrow as they've done today. Let the 10 sons of Haman be hanged on the gallows. Hidden within those 10 names, what do we have? I'm sorry, I forgot to do. We have hidden within the names with a small Tav Shin Zayin, with a big Vav. They push up relatively to the day of judgment. But not only that, gentlemen, what holiday falls between June and October? It rhymes with Rosh Hashanah. Shoshana. Now, what happens Rosh Hashanah to the year? What happens? It changes, which means in June it's 5706, and we're not put amnesty, and everyone would have showed it to you today. Or we would have had a small Vav. Right? Okay, the bottom line is we push it off into the next year, pushing it off into 5707. Okay, now things are getting a little bit hoppy here. Let's say code. This is where things get even a little bit more spicy. So what have we got so far? We got 10 and 10. Now the only thing is that how many sons did Haman have? What are you, like a medrash over here? That's the 100th from. What does the Megillah say? How many sons did he have? He had 10 sons, right? But how many died in Nuremberg? Died in Nuremberg. 11, right? 10 were hanged, 1 committed suicide. What's going on? Hold on. It goes like this. There was a guy by the name of Mordechai. Mordechai walked down the street one time. He was these 2 guys speaking Greek, 7 Sarahs, plotting to kill the king, beating the brothers, and Henry spoke all languages. of the world, so therefore understood they were planning to kill the king. He goes and tells them, turns out it's actually true, they killed them, he has saved the king's life, they write his name down in the book of the Chronicles, they saved the king's life, but they did not do anything for him. A couple of years later, Achashverosh can't sleep. So what do? We go get some from our friend. What do other people do? What we do is they go and they read from the book of the Chronicles. So they go and they read the book of the Chronicles and they get up to the fact that Mordecai saved their life. And Achashverosh is like, what? Mordecai saved my life? What did we do for him? We didn't do anything. We didn't do anything. We have to do something. Just then in walks Boo. Right? So the other girl walks in and he goes, Hummingbird, what should be done to the one who the king wants to greatly honor? He goes, well, he's probably talking about me. He should allow me, I mean him, to ride the royal horse of the king, and also allow me, him, to wear the royal garments of the king, and also get another one of your lowly servants, hopefully it'll be Mordecai the Jew, to pull me through town, him in through town, yelling out, Kacha yesel yishashamacha v'tzbikaro, so is done to the one the king wants to greatly honor. So he goes, you know what, Hummingbird, that's a great idea. Go do that to Mordecai the Jew. He's like, oh, profanity, this guy, what can he do? So he goes to Mordecai, gets him dressed up, puts some other things, starts going through town, yelling, Kacha yesel yishashamacha v'tzbikaro. So we know that although it's true that Haman only had 10 sons, he also had a daughter to her, otherwise known as a daughter. She's standing on the second floor balcony, she's watching this whole procession. She goes, oh, that must be Dad and the horse. And only Mordecai Jew pulling it. So she proceeds to take the chamber pot. For those who are not familiar with the chamber pot, in France, they even call it la toilette. In Spain, it's called el baño. In England, it's the loo. In Canada, it's the water closet. In America, we just call it the can. And there was something cooking up in there, and she proceeds to pour it on the head of who she thought was Mordecai. It turns out to be Hummingbird. He looks up and goes, what the? And she goes, that's right. He goes, oh my goodness, it's that. She throws herself to her death, committing suicide. 10 are hanged, 10 are hanged. One commits suicide, one commits suicide. And where, my friends, did Herman Goering hide the cyanide with which he killed himself? In the toilet. Well, that's disgusting. Oh no. That's the bucket list, you know what I mean? Bucket list. And with the he goes there and he does this. Well, hold on a second, how could you compare them? You know what I'm saying? You got 10 and 10, 11, 11, but he's a he and she's a she. The answer to that is Mrs. Doubtfire. Those are unfamiliar with Mrs. Doubtfire. Herman Goering liked to get dressed up in women's clothing. If you have a problem with this, you can take it up with the Discovery Channel, not just the Discovery Seminar. I actually saw a documentary on this Chafetz Shalom after Titanic, and it said over there, Herman Goering liked to wear women's clothing underneath his uniform. So what do we got? We got a piece of the Shushan Tutzmaz, we got the Tessin, we got the song, we got the official judgment. We got the small we got the 10 and 10, we got 11 and 11, and we were looking for control. I mean, this is getting a little bit wild. You know what would be awesome? Imagine if, like, at the Nuremberg trials itself, at the trials itself, if they can just come along and they would say, you know what, you got us. This is just like the story Purim all over again, and like we're really like the sons of Hanukkah, and like this is awesome, and that would be great, But you can't hit everything, or can you? Take a look at page 79, please. 79, give me a minute. 79, the bottom right-hand corner. Last paragraph, 79, and I quote, Newsweek, October 28, 1946. Only Julius Streicher went without dignity. He had to be pushed across the floor, wild-eyed and screaming Heil Hitler. Mounting the steps, he cried out, and now I go to God. He stared at the witnesses facing the gallows and shouted, Purim Fest, 1946. And Newsweek is kind enough to tell us that Purim is a Jewish feast. What in the world is going on? If you would have yelled anything Jewish, what should he have yelled? Sukkah party. Last day of Sukkot. Why is he yelling at Purim Fest? For 6 months, right? The answer is, we actually have no idea, but it's almost as if they say, right? Someone asks, well, what did he say? Well, he didn't say much after that. This guy's like, it's like I'm saying, it's actually somebody who came here to Discovery a bunch of years ago who was roommates with Julius Streicher's grandson. Julius Streicher, the one who used to yell at Purim Fest. He was roommates, this guy, Julius Streicher had a grandson, and he was in university with the guy who came to Discovery. And this guy went back and asked him, I don't know how they met the first time, like, hi, I'm a Jew. Hey, I'm a Nazi's grandson. Just think of what I have. Anyway, the idea is, nonetheless, he goes and he says, he said he went back, and Julius Streicher's grandson is true. We have our family, the grandpa yelled out, we have no one has any idea why. So what do we see, my friends? 3 battles after Mesa, all going to Israel. 3 battles of the tents of Yaakov Mesa, all going to Israel. first whole back resource. The question is, the Nazis do the sense of a mullet. Another thing they deal, what if Tom the I find the kind of army of Vandal, and they go and they say the kind of should go forth and destroy the entire world, and found the thing exactly as going to be, and if we got from the Tom indeed, that's pretty over one together, that's pretty together first. So these things you should do for other people, everything else. Here within 10 seconds, we got a small function, they got a big wow, we push up the whole day, they have judgment, 10, 10, 11, 11, Purim fest, and we were looking for control. I believe that we brought some pretty overwhelming, significant evidence. My friends, this comes along and ends the Discovery Seminar. I just want to end up with one idea, just to bring everything to perspective. What is a common denominator? Not everything, almost everything that you saw today, common denominator. Let's say 7 wonders of Jewish history. It really comes down to the word recent. 7 wonders of Jewish history, again, only recent, but you can become with the concept of return. Codes, only recently do we have supercomputers and we can actually work all this out. Idea of world perfect, coming to this concept, we're seeing this right now. Idea of control, only recent. Why is that? Very simple. If you were to go back to someone, you go to someone who lived like 500 years ago, you got some believe in God. What do most people say? Yeah, people believe in God. It's only recently that it became like, totally off and not involved. Right, so we have this problem now. You go to any college, campus, university in the world today, you ask them, do you believe in God? And the person says yes. What's the response? One of two things. Either está loco, either you're crazy, or prove it. Or a switchblade. You start running and make sure that you got it. Right? Because what they say prove it. So what do God do? At the very moment when we need it, when we're the most pessimistic people, when we need it, God gave us the ability to be able to go ahead and back ourselves up. And that actually, my friends, is the double entendre of the word Megillat Esther. On the one hand, Megillat Esther means what? It means a scroll of Esther. On the other hand, Megillat Esther comes from the concept of Megillat coming from Megalot. What does that mean? To reveal. Esther goes from Hester, which means hidden. To reveal the hidden. What will reveal the hidden? The story of Purim. And how what goes through that idea to understand the depth of what happened. My friends, if a book like this, namely the Torah, would have fallen from the sky, every academic in the world would have jumped on it. Well, you know what? It did fall from the sky. And we're lucky enough that we got it. The question is, how much time does it deserve? A day, a week, a month? I leave that to you, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you when I see you. Don't know what to give. Bye. If you could please fill out the forms. If anyone has questions, I'm here. Thank you so much. Enjoy.
Guys, please.